All right, so in a previous video, I drew this battery rack to be 3D printed, and basically it's for rechargeable batteries. You drop your chargeable battery in there, and as you recharge up your batteries, drop them in here, and then as you use them, you pull them out the bottom, ready to go. So it keeps your batteries all organized at hand, ready to go, knowing that these guys are the ones that are charged. And then it has these little countersinks here, so you can screw it to the wall. So now I want to hang my battery charger on the wall next to it, but there are no screw holes on this. So I'm going to 3D print a thing that goes in here to screw it to the wall, but I need these same countersinks. Now I'm going to show you a little trick that I've learned in SketchUp that will help you save this geometry so you don't have to redraw it every time. Because when I drew this originally, I took my dowel calipers and drew this screw, or measured this screw so I could draw a countersink that would fit it, and I'm really happy with how it fits. It fits really perfect in there. So I don't want to have to, every time I want to 3D print something, to put a screw in it. I don't want to have to redraw that and go back all the way through to remeasure all of these things. So let's jump into SketchUp and I'll show you a trick that I learned that'll allow you to reuse that geometry for future projects and not have to redraw it every time. All right, so we're back in SketchUp here, and this is the geometry I want to save for each and every time I need a countersink on one of my projects. So I'm just going to do a group select. So basically, enter the component. I'm going to drag all the way across there, so that way I select everything in that group. I'm going to M to move, and I'm just going to move it out here a little ways just to make sure I can see that I have all the geometry that I need for this particular application. Since with it all selected, I'm going to hit G to make it a component. All right, so I'm going to hit enter. So now it is its own component. All right, so now I want to save just this component, but not the rest of the model. So if you were to go up here to File, Save As, you're going to save a new file with all of this information in it, and I just want just this component. So instead of going File, Save As, I'm just going to right-click on my component here, and I'm going to go down here to Save As in the flyout menu here. And what that's going to do is just save just that component. All right, now SketchUp will automatically save it in a default folder. I have gone in and created my own components assets folder. I've gone to my my OneDrive, that way I can access this folder whether I'm working on SketchUp on my laptop or on my desktop here. And I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm just going to call it countersinks. All right, and I'm going to select that folder, and then I'm going to save my drywall screw countersink in that folder. All right, so now I'm going to open up a new version of SketchUp here, and I'm going to draw my thing. It's a pretty simple little clip. It's basically just a rectangle with two flanges on it, so I'm just going to speed draw it for you here. All right, so there is our little clip that's going to go inside our charger. So now to get our countersink that we've already drawn, if we go to our components here and we hit this little arrow button, open or create local collection, then you can navigate to wherever you save that at. Countersinks, select folder. So now there is our drywall screw countersink. So in this little drop-down menu, there is our screw countersinks. And you can make other folders, doors, router profiles, whatever you want. So that way your saved components will always be in this drop-down menu ready for you to use. So you don't have to redraw them all the time. So if you have other countersink sizes that you use a lot in your 3D printing, you can save them all in this folder ready to go. So basically to get it into your model, you just select the one you want and move your mouse out, and there it is. So I'm going to click to place it. And then we just need to rotate it around to where we want. So I'm going to rotate it down 90 degrees. Now, since this is a round shape, it's kind of hard to find the center. So if you hit M to move and then you hit the Alt key, it'll toggle between whether you're lining up on the sides. You can see that little highlight there. You hit the Alt key, then it moved to the face. Hit the Alt key again, it moved to the center. Hit the Alt key again, moves back to the edges. so you can toggle around to wherever you want to go. So I want to grab it right here. I'm going to just up arrow key and bring it down flush. All right, so it's not big enough, so I'm going to select it, M to move, and I'm going to move this up so it's flush to the top, and I want to extend my pre-drilled hole, so I'm just going to enter the component, and I'm going to do a group select across there, M to move, and then we'll just go straight down. I'm hitting the right arrow key to lock onto that red axis right there. Whoops. So that way it doesn't distort on me like that. Snap it to that bottom, so now my countersink with my pre-drilled hole goes all the way through. All right, so now M to move. I'm going to hit the Alt key to toggle over. So I can grab it by that center spot, right arrow key. I'm going to line up to the center here. All right, and the countersink is a little bit bigger, so my drywall screw might not fit on this. I'm going to do a quick measurement here. All right, so I did a quick measurement of the battery charger, and I do have a little room of play, about 3/16 here on either side, that it'll still fit if I expand this top flange out a little bit. All right, so solve that problem. Grab it again, control to make a copy, and snap to there, and then we'll go 1 inch in from the end. All right, so now I have them in place, so I just need to select those guys. Right click, explode. So now they're part of my model. And since they didn't cut all the way through, I'm just going to hit L for the line tool and trace a segment. That way I should just be able to delete that guy. A weird piece of geometry right there. Let's try. All right, and then I'll just do a little cleanup here. Any kind of stray geometry. All right, we'll just make that a component. Call it a charger mount. All right, so if you do a lot of 3D printing, there's a couple extensions you might want to get. There's an extension called Cleanup, and when you saw me delete a couple of those stray edges, there is this extension will delete them all if you end up with a whole bunch of them. Erase stray edges, so it'll clean up your geometry basically. And then if you're 3D printing, you want to make sure it's a solid, so there is an extension called Solid Inspector. So you click it, and oh man, I have a whole bunch of issues. But right here it says 86 stray edges, so I'm just going to click Fix, and it fixed all of them. One surface border issue. So if you see this lighted up red line here, so it's highlighting what the issue is. And the plugin can't figure out how to fix that. So if you hit Fix All, nothing happens. So I'm going to exit out of that, and I'll manually clean that up. And it needs to be a group or a component before you run Solid Inspector. So I'm going to run it again, and now it says, all right, that fixed it all up, no errors. So I'm ready to go 3D print this. All right, thanks for watching. I'm going to go ahead and 3D print that and get that hung up on my wall, and I hope that will help your workflow to give you some good tips on how to reuse geometry and save geometry for later use in other models. Thanks for watching. All right, here we go. Here's our completed piece. Let's stick our charger in here. Forgot to bring the screws with me. All right, this guy probably will hardly ever get used because I don't really go through that much battery power unless it's a high production day, but this clip leaves just enough room, or just below the charging ports, even for the little AAA ports. Of course, we need some electricity. Here we go. Once those are charged, we'll just drop them right in here.